This is KGW News at noon.
Hello, I'm Drew Carney. Our top story this afternoon is the country's latest mass shooting. This one happened inside the food court of an Indiana shopping mall over the weekend. NBC's Maggie Vespa brings us the details.
Investigators this morning are searching for a motive behind America's latest mass shooting. This one in Indiana, they say it left 4 people dead, including the shooter, and at least 2 wounded, including a 12-year-old girl who we're told has minor injuries. This one happened in Greenwood, Indiana. It's just outside of Indianapolis, specifically at Greenwood Park Mall. Authorities say the shooter opened fire inside the mall food court with a long rifle, and they say several rounds of ammunition. What sets this one apart, authorities say, is that the carnage was curbed by a Good Samaritan, a 22-year-old unnamed man who authorities say had a handgun on him legally, confronted the shooter, and they say shot and killed him. Authorities are not releasing the name of the Good Samaritan at this point. They're also not releasing the names of the victims or the name of the shooter for that matter, but police did call that Good Samaritan, quote, the hero of the day. And the mayor of Greenwood released a statement thanking the Good Samaritan, saying this person saved lives. Of course, this mass shooting comes in a string of mass shootings this summer, including in cities like Buffalo, Uvalde, and Highland Park. According to the Gun Violence Coalition, there have been more than 349 mass shootings in the U.S. this year. Back to you.
Again, that was Maggie Vespa reporting for us this afternoon. Meanwhile, over the weekend in Vancouver, a shooting at a house party left 2 people dead and 2 others seriously injured. It happened near East 11th and Nob Hill Drive. Witnesses told KGW that it was a college going away party and about 50 people were there. Police say the victims range in age from 17 to 20 years old. So far, though, there's no word of any arrests. Gun violence was also an issue again throughout the weekend in Portland. 4 people were killed and at least 1 person was hurt in 4 separate shootings across the city. The first one happened Friday evening off Southeast 124th and Powell. The most recent one happened yesterday morning at Southeast 26th and Belmont. That's where Portland police say they found a man dead and a woman who was also shot. She later died at the hospital. We spoke to another woman who lives in that part of town about that Sunday morning shooting.
It's really scary kind of seeing it creep up, like especially from downtown and now that it's here on Belmont. But yeah, I kind of really don't know how to think because it's been really like a very quiet, peaceful neighborhood.
Again, 4 separate shootings across the city over the weekend. Anyone with information about these shootings is asked to call police. Mayor Ted Wheeler released a report that is over the weekend detailing the rise in shootings across the city between 2019 and 2021. The report was put together by the California Partnership for Safe Communities. It found Portland went from 36 homicides in 2019 to 57 in 2020 and then 88 homicides last year. The organization looked at both deadly and non-deadly shootings and found a 144% increase in homicides and a 241% increase in non-deadly shootings. There is actually a lot more to this report, and we have a breakdown for you of some of the key findings at KGW.com. Portland police are still looking for a driver involved in a hit-and-run crash that killed a person who was out walking 2 dogs over the weekend. This happened early Saturday morning in the Lentz neighborhood of Southeast Portland, right along Southeast Holgate at 100th Avenue. Both dogs were also killed. Police say the crash involved 2 cars and one of the drivers ran from the scene. Anyone who may have seen what happened or anyone who has security video is asked to contact Portland police. Meanwhile, nurses at Providence St. Vincent have reached a new deal with the hospital. The Oregon Nurses Association says 1,600 nurses ratified this new contract. The union also says the deal addresses concerns including staff burnout, and it calls for increased pay of up to 16.5%. Nurses at Providence Milwaukee will vote on their contract later this week. And an uptick in COVID cases is causing health leaders in the Seattle area to consider bringing back a mask mandate. Right now, case counts in King County are higher than they were during the peak of last year's Delta wave. Officials say that's also probably an undercount because so many people right now are using at-home tests and they're not reporting those results to the government. According to the CDC, 14 counties in Washington are considered at high risk for COVID right now. although none of them are in Southwest Washington. A new suicide prevention hotline is now available nationwide with a very easy to remember number. It's 988. You can call that number or you can text that number, although counselors also want people to remember that there are local crisis lines available. KGW's Tim Gordon explains how Clackamas County is trying to help.
So these are our mental health suicide prevention bracelets that we help design.
The bracelets with messages and a crisis line phone number. Jared Hinshaw with Clackamas County's Children, Family and Community Connections Division helped create them.
And for the purpose of bringing awareness to the crisis and support line in a stylish way that people want to wear, and so they have access to that number and letting them know that they're not alone.
The bracelets ask, "Are you okay?" and say, "You are not alone." And unlike past bracelets, also come in Spanish. Co-designer Olga Salinas pushed for that to reach the Hispanic community.
Not only for themselves, but for their children, for their friends' children. It was important to me to get this information in their hands.
Along with the messages, an important number for those in crisis or who know of someone in crisis.
We wanted to give people a resource at their fingertips. So the crisis line phone number is on the inside.
Those who call 503-655-8585 will be connected to people who can help at the Clackamas County Mental Health Center.
And this is staffed 24/7, so we have folks who answer that line and are able to help folks navigate whatever it is that they're going through.
Crisis Prevention Supervisor Jeffrey Anderson says call takers are highly trained and will help people get to the resources they need in a kind and compassionate way. Connections Division Director Adam Freer says the crisis line is needed now more than ever.
The kinds of stress that we are enduring in our society now are unparalleled and unprecedented.
And a small investment in bracelets can save lives with a number to call close at hand.
Once someone picks up on the other line and there's a warm voice that is kind and caring, hopefully that opens up the door for that person.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
And I'm living in a nightmare neighborhood.
So far, no one has come to help us.
You can hear the anger, the frustration, the desperation from residents of this neighborhood in Southeast Portland. Some of those residents say the crime, the violence, and the drugs have gotten so bad there that they're afraid to leave their homes. So this is Southeast Powell and 80th, where the streets are lined with people living in tents, RVs, and broken down cars. Some of those residents tell us they're tired of trying to get the city to respond, and some of the homeless in that neighborhood say they're also worried about what they're seeing.
And it is scary when you have grown men meth raging in your driveway. The last thing I feel safe doing is going out and saying, "Hey, can you please move so I can go to work?"
I feel like it's just gotten more bold, more rash. People aren't as afraid to do things that are, have to do with criminality.
The city told KGW that they did assess this camp just last week, but they also assessed 272 other camps over the past 10 days that they consider to be an even greater health and safety risk. You can watch the full story about this on our website, kgw.com. Well, despite the city's struggles in recent years, Time magazine included Portland on its list of the world's greatest places. So last week on The Story, KGW's Pat Doris did some digging to find out how exactly Portland made the cut.
Portland hasn't always had the best reputation in the national media, especially in the last few years. But Time thought differently, so we contacted the author of the article to find out what made such a good impression on her.
During this time, I think it was the food. I tried every kind of cuisine, I think, in a course of 4 days. From Australian to Malaysian, Thai, we had Filipino to Sri Lankan to Scandinavian. It was like you name it, everything was there. And these were very authentic mom and pop restaurants that served kind of very original flavors in a very unique way.
Travel writer Sucheta Raul also pointed to the inclusivity of the city. She was impressed by things like the sensory room at PDX, which is a calming room designed for travelers with anxiety or folks who might be on the autism spectrum. Raul says she recognizes that Portland is not perfect, but she travels a lot. She's seen a lot of places that people criticize, but she enjoyed her visit to our city.
I did not feel unsafe when I was in Portland, even with everything that you said around protests, homelessness. I never felt uncomfortable. I stayed in downtown. I walked around late in the evening. So for me, I think the city is different from what media points it out. Yes, things happen everywhere, but it's only once we go there and experience it that we really know what is actually going on.
You can hear more of our interview with Raul in the story section of KGW.com, and be sure to drop us an email. Let us know what you think. The address is thestory@kgw.com.
Well, we have a few more news stories to get to this afternoon, but first we're going to take a break to take a look outside. A live look this afternoon. Chris, I don't know if the skies all around the area are that blue and that beautiful, but that is a great look here this afternoon as we kick it over to you in our weather center.
That is spectacular, right? That sapphire blue sky above timberline. It's been blue like that above the low cloud deck all day long. Let's take it to the Oregon coast where the sky is clearing as well. This is a live look from Lincoln City, our newest brand new HD camera along the central Oregon coast. This courtesy of the Chinook Winds Casino Resort. There you can see Cascade Head off in the distance, and the low cloudiness that was there this morning has already pushed out to sea. 63 right now in Lincoln City. Here's a look at the visible satellite imagery, and a lot of the region is clear, but you can see right here over Portland and if you trace the Columbia River up through Columbia County and out through Clatsop County, we're still kind of stuck in that marine layer, but that is eroding, and very quickly at that, I might add, because just looking out the window right now, we've got some bright spots over downtown. You can see, in fact, there you go, Wells Fargo sky camera peering to the east, showing a little blue sky off to the east and the cloud cover breaking up over downtown. It's 68 last check at PDX. Big picture across the state, warming well into the 70s and lower 80s already across eastern Oregon. Once that sun pops up here in Portland, the temperature is going to warm pretty quickly. So high confidence that we are in the low 80s this afternoon. And Drew, we get warmer from here. I've got 90s in my forecast, not only tomorrow and possibly Wednesday, but beyond the 7-day forecast as well. We'll check out that coming up.